All right, first one I want to get into with you is Jake Tapper, all right?
Yeah.
CNN star Jake Tapper squirms when asked how much money he's making from Biden cover-up he took part in. So here's the interview, Rob. If you have it, play this clip, and then we're going to talk about some of the book sales, a bust, what happened with it, and I'm curious to know what you have to say about this. Go ahead, Rob.
In terms of the left, it's a money grab. I mean, that's not the case. It's not. This is. I don't want to get into where my money comes from, but I'm. CNN is my main job, and that's where my main source of income by far. Very few people write books to make money. You write a book because you want to say something, you want to have a legacy, you want to uncover something, you have a message you want to get out there. I don't think people write books about Joe Biden to make money. We are gratified that people are buying this book.
That's a good point.
But I don't think. I mean, the idea that I would do this for money is it's silly and not true.
All right, so you can pause that.
Who's his publisher, Pat?
For a guy like that, you get a multi-seven-figure deal. Jake Tapper doesn't get a small advance. He gets a big advance. Now, here's the numbers. When you look at what's going on, and when he says, I make most of my money from CNN, he does make good amount of money from CNN. But the book, they did pay him very well. CNN pays him, I think, $7 million a year is his 2024 contract. He's making roughly $7 million a year. So let's go through this on his book, how it did. Rob, what page do we have that on? Boom, 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 boom.
That is page 13.
Okay, let me go to page 13 to see how his book did. Okay, so here's some data on how the book did. Jake Tapper's book, Sales, a Bust. Rating dropped to decade low. Book original saying co-author with Axios reporter Alex Thompson sold 57,000 units in its first week, despite heavy promotion, a figure dwarfed by Bob Woodward's Fear, Trump and the White House, which sold 1.1 million copies in its first week, as reported by publisher Simon & Schuster. The article notes Tapper's attempt to exonerate the regime media and the Democratic Party for covering up former Biden's mental decline failed to resonate even with Democrats due to Tapper's lack of credibility. The lead with Jake Tapper on CNN saw a 25% viewership drop, averaging 525,000 total viewership from April 28th to May 25th. The lowest since 2015. That is 10 years ago. Capturing only 11% of the cable news audience share compared to MSNBC's 21%. Fox's 68%. Stephen A., what do you think went wrong here?
I think that when you see, first of all, it started with MSNBC. Let's call it what it is. Once Trump won the election, you should be pleased with what I'm about to say, Vinny.
Okay.
Once Trump won the election, a message was sent. We heard everything that y'all had to say. We weren't buying it. But when you saw the reversal, the mea culpas, the Morning Joes going to Mar-a-Lago and others, we're like, see, we nobody's hearing it. Feed into what you were saying about what we're not buying. And then, unlike the typical voter out there, you are the news networks. Folks were relying upon you to deliver the goods. And when you come out with a book in the aftermath of the election saying that you interviewed nearly 200 people, almost all of them Democrats, and you talked about what you discovered, the reality is that the people that have turned against the network, the people that have turned against the news, the people that have turned against him, if that is indeed the case, it's easy to surmise that what they're saying is, there's no way in hell we believe that you just found that out after the election. Mm-hmm. We believe you knew it before the election, and you didn't tell us. Now, that's not me saying it. It's not you saying it. It's not even, hell, it's not even Vinny at this particular moment in time saying it. It's folks that were watching, the viewers who were watching you. Because what other explanation can there possibly be? If you're a leftist and that's the kind of content that they were giving you on MSNBC or CNN, if you were watching this particular show or this particular host, why would you suddenly stop? You would stop because of the election. That's plausible. Mm-hmm. But months after the election, all of a sudden you notice a precipitous drop-off. The drop-off would have been in the immediate aftermath of the election, where, it's November 5th, and now from that point forward, boom. But in this particular instance, according to the reports, the drop-off came when the book came, even more so. And because that's the reality, there's nothing else to deduce from that.
So, okay, let me ask you this other question for you. So let's let's compare you to Jake real quick, okay? You got Bill Maher. I'll give a couple names. It's mainly you and Bill Maher. Let's put those two in the same category.
Sure.
And then let's put Jake and Acosta. Who else you want to put? Put a couple of these guys in this other category. But all of you voted for the same person pretty much, okay?
Yeah.
You didn't vote for Trump.
No,
you
I did not.
You did not vote for Trump. Okay. What happened to your market where 4 months, not 4 months, 6 months? It's been 7 months since election, November 5th, right? Let's say 7 months.
Okay.
So that's 7 months. 7 months after the election, your viewership is skyrocketing. You just signed multi-million-dollar deal with Disney, ESPN. You're getting your show going on your YouTube, you're all over the place. You're on the list now, Rob. You can pull it up on Democratic candidates for 2028. Stephen A. Smith put it on the list, and you see now all of a sudden being talked about in the top 4. I've seen multiple lists where you're number 2, number 3, number 4. Some are saying you're 7%, 18%, 12%. It's all over the place. Why did you all of a sudden spike and start gaining that credibility, even though you voted for Kamala? You didn't vote for Trump.
Because
why are some of these guys getting hammered?
Because I'm not perceived as being full of shit. That's why. See, I can argue with Vinny. I can argue with you all day. I can do that. But I'm telling you what I feel based on what I believe the issues are and what I believe we should be focused on. You know, Vinny might be, like, you talk about the borders. The borders matter to me. I was never for open borders. You understand? I'm about an economy. I'm about a strong national defense. I'm about those things. My issue against Trump was simply, I don't like the way that he acts, and I don't trust that the polarizing figure that he is would ever be remotely interested in trying to bring us together. It was going to be more division. Whereas I looked at a person like Kamala Harris, and I said to myself, it's not really about her. I believe a strong House and a strong Senate could compel her to operate across the aisle and get her to do some things. I might have been wrong in that thinking, but that's what I was thinking. You have others that, if it's a MSNBC, if it's a CNN, I'm just giving out those names because it's clear what they were doing. They leaned and tilted strongly to the left, and their objective clearly appeared to be to keep this man from regaining office. The difference between me and them is I would have looked you in the camera and told you exactly how I felt about them. And then when I started doing my reporting and interviewing somebody, I would have been right down the middle. How I feel has nothing to do with doing my job. I could feel, I don't like this dude. I'm not going to vote for him. And I'm not saying that I didn't feel those things. I know I said some things about Trump that I actually did not say. I've known Trump for years. We were cool. Trump, we would go to his properties and watch boxing matches. We see him at the basketball games. You never heard people. I said, I don't like how he's acting. If he does something that I thought was racially insensitive, I would call it out. Never called him racist. Never compared them to Hitler. Never called them a Nazi or anything like that. No, I knew this man. How the hell you going to turn around and then talk about him like that? My whole point is, I always said if I saw him in the face, I would look him in the face. Why are you doing this? Why are you acting this way? You know you're ruffling feathers. You're being polarizing. Is that really necessary? Damn it, get it together. I would have said that to him, to his face. So I'm on News Nation with Corvo, and everybody starts laughing because it's my turn to talk to him. And he says, hey, Stephen, it's been a long time. And then all of a sudden, like, oh, they really do know each other. Yeah, because we used to talk all the time. So I've never talked about him like that. But my point is, even if I felt that way, I'm still going to look in the camera and think about my obligation to my audience to be fair and as informed and as neutral as I possibly can in disseminating the information. You have too many people out there in our business that went away from the tenets of what our business is purportedly about, and they engaged in partisanship. You had people on the air hosting shows literally trying to get him unelected or not reelected. You can't do that. Because once you've made that decision, I can't trust your reporting. And that is what I believe is happening. Fair or unfair to Jake Tapper, I'll leave that for somebody else to judge. The Joy Reids of the world and others.
Let me ask you this
question. In the end, when you do that, you compromise yourself.
Is it 100% that in 2028, if you run, you will run as a Democrat?
The only reason I say that is because I don't think that I'd have a snowball's chance in hell of running as a Republican. I think J.D. Vance, the Marco Rubios of the world, even the Ron DeSantis of the world have that on lock, number one. Number two, the party is not as in disarray as the Democratic Party. Number three, even though I'm a centrist and I'm a registered independent who would not hesitate, by the way, to vote. I would have voted for Nikki Haley. I would have voted for Nikki Haley. If Ron DeSantis hadn't pissed me off with the whole slavery, there's good parts about slavery comment, I might have voted for him. That was my issue with him. Trump, obviously, it's his behavior more so than anything else. But I had no problem with Nikki Haley. I'm friends with Governor Chris Christie, former governor of New Jersey. He and I talk all the time. I've known it. So I look at that, and their party is not as much in disarray. In my perfect world, to answer your question, if a third party had a chance of winning an election, that would be the way that I go, because I don't like leaning far right or left, and I think both sides pull you dramatically in their direction.
Okay, so for those of you that believe the future looks bright and you go to the gym and you want to sport the gear and be part of the community that represents Future Looks Bright, here's a new gear that came out, athletic wear of Future Looks Bright, with our models. And guess who's in it? Vinny, Rob, going to play the
Steven
clip.
don't give a shit about what I'm doing.
Those
Okay,
are
Vinny.
85-pound dumbbells.
Okay, Nati, a good camera work right there.
That second one right there is what your kids should have kept the video.
It's Natalia.
Oh,
Great personality on that girl. There she goes. Sick. Gangsta.
Looks good.
Yeah, we remember her.
Yeah.
We remember her.
All right, go to vteamers.com.
Nah.
Place the order, first 100.
Brother
You're
to
going
be
to get an I Love
struggling
You
from
tee.
amnesia and remember that. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
I'm just talking
Again,
truth.
vteamers.com.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.